Good morning. It is July 20th, 2020, and I'm in the front of the neighborhood garden this morning. This is the alley. For perspective, up the alley is my garage. As you can see, the zinnia are starting to come up. I have a beautiful orange coneflower at the edge there. The grasses that I put in last year have all but died off. I have put in some 4 o'clock here that will eventually bloom. I've had assorted lilies blooming throughout the month of July. You can see I have a stargazer here this morning. It's very nice. Some iris, and I threw down a bunch of seed. Have a little bit of cosmos coming up. There's another one right there in amongst the zinnia. And the daylily that are out in front here are ones that I had in my backyard for years, and they weren't blooming, so they're enjoying this sunshine out here. I actually have time to do this morning because I don't have to water. It rained last night, and my routine has been getting up at 6:30 every morning and coming out and watering for about a half an hour because it has been a little bit dry. And this dirt I've had to replenish over and over and over because this is, of course, where that house stood, and the dirt is not good. Underneath it, it's very heavy clay. So again, more zinnia coming up. My roses back there. And I'll show you over here too. These are some of the grasses that actually survived. This just shows you how hard this clay is underneath here. I just kind of formed a mountain of like handmade brick, I guess. That is not stone, that is clay. And that's what's underneath this dirt. Planted a couple of shrubbery. So I think this fall I'm going to put in some mums right here to kind of anchor it. I don't know if they'll survive in this dirt or not. Some more 4 o'clock there, planted from seed from my neighbor Betty. And these are the roses that I put in. They've done quite well. And this morning I am spraying them with some of this Japanese beetle killer because the Japanese beetles are just they're just relentless for some reason. And they like it when the roses are kind of almost ready to fall off. So I don't cut off the dead ones to encourage new growth, because as soon as I do, they start eating the little buds like that. They'll start eating that. So you can see one right there. Nasty thing. And there's a honeybee. See? The honeybees are out in force this morning. Also, dragonflies. So I'll cut those back a little bit, but I do like the rose hips on this one. See, that's a nice little rose hip there. You can see the gladiolas are starting to come out as well. Now these are white climbing roses that'll go up over the arbor eventually. Of course, this is only the second year for these, so they still have a few years to get established. Whoops, I tripped over the fence. Yeah. Okay. This is a peace rose, and I've already pinched off the beetles this morning, but I'm gonna spray just for good measure. This one doesn't seem to be too bothered by the beetles. So I'll show you another angle. So the hollyhock were just amazing this summer, and I'm sorry I didn't get this on sooner so you could actually see them. I'll post a picture. I planted these in seed last year. I was pretty excited that they came up because they will only bloom every other year, so I'm hoping I'll have enough seed to have them next year as well. Got some more gladiola there. This is going to be a real pretty gladiola here. And the sunflowers I had here last year, some of them have are coming up again. The seeds from the sunflower from last year are coming up. There's a couple more glads. Yeah, and then this is going to be a pretty nice sunflower. I want to show you this gladiola here. It is just gorgeous. It's kind of, the picture doesn't do it justice. It's more of a real deep purple. It kind of looks red on the camera. And this is another nice one too. Quite lovely. Okay, and then these are the vegetable beds. And you can see how this ground is horrible. This is really just hard clay, again, from where the house was torn down. It would take way too much money to haul in topsoil, because underneath here is brick and metals and just building materials. So it does not grow good grass. And that was why I opted to put in the beds instead of till it up and make a big garden. I've got a little butternut squash there and an acorn squash there. I have a really good recipe for butternut squash soup that I like to have in the fall. Here's another real pretty glad. I didn't put the chicken wire around the beds early enough, so these poor cabbage plants were just decimated by the groundhog, which was very aggravating. This is a stevia plant. It is quite sweet. You can dry it and make it, use it as a sugar substitute. Got some Better Boy tomatoes and some cherry tomatoes here, some basil. I got these in fairly late because work just keeps me hopping. So I put these in probably, I don't know, the first or second week of June, which I should have had them in earlier. But hopefully they'll ripen up before it gets cold. There's some nice big tomatoes in there. And again, my glads, I just like to have these to cut and put in bouquets, or if neighbors want to come by and cut one or two and put in a bouquet, that is fine, because that's what this is supposed to be, evolve into a kind of a community neighborhood garden. Have some peppers, some Thai hot peppers that I picked this morning. I'm going to try those in a recipe with the basil. Should be kind of nice. This is larkspur that has just outdone itself. It just planted itself here, so I let it bloom. And the seeds, it'll just reseed itself, and so I may have larkspur all over the place out here, but that's fine. It's kind of nice. And this is okra. I really didn't know what to expect. This is the first time I've grown okra. And actually, this is only the second summer I've grown vegetables. Anyway, AJ, my nephew, got these seeds in Hawaii when he was still doing his cruise ship gig. Hopefully it'll start doing its thing. But the plants are just really pretty. I like the contrast of the deep green and that red in the center. It's just really nice. some more glads, and I had some cabbage in here that was also destroyed by the groundhog early on. I don't know if they'll come back and do anything. Hard to say. Some bok choy that again I'll use in a. Oh, my knees just cracked. Bok choy. I'll have to pick those soon. And that's supposed to be summer squash, but it's not. It's not doing its thing. I have already picked some of this kale this morning. I do love kale. I like to use it in soups. And I like to make kale chips too. It's real easy. Just put it in the oven and sprinkle it with some garlic seasoning, and it's actually quite good. Drizzle it with olive oil, of course. So I think that is really it. This is just the look around the neighborhood. Those road lilies or tiger lilies were here with the house. And right in here are the surprise lilies that came up earlier this spring and died back, of course. But I can't wait to see those come up. That's always nice in August. Here's the... Oh, yeah, I did take off some of this chicken wire yesterday because first of all, I filled up that groundhog hole and put mothball in it. And then I put Irish Spring all around the beds. So I'm hoping that they won't chew up the vegetables like they did early in the spring. I also have some more basil there. Yeah. So that's about it. You can see that I got my compost pile all moved and got my truck parked back over here with my car, because now that the trees are gone, if I leave it parked there, my red truck would soon be pink. Yeah, so that's about it. And then as far as I can tell, the groundhog have not come back out of that hole. But stay tuned on that. So I think I'll end it there, and happy Monday. Have a great morning. Bye.